Who's ready for another unhinged client story? I question that like some people just really either like sign something without reading all the time, which is just wild to me because not only do I go over it like in extensive like procedures, but like it's also in the contract. So like the fact that people don't know that you're not supposed to bring children to a boudoir session is baffling to me. Let's name her Janelle. So Janelle books a session, and this is supposed to be for her husband's birthday. Janelle takes time to read everything, apparently. She even checks off all the boxes that say, yes, she read everything. Yes, she understands everything. Yes, she gets all the information, the policies, the pricing, all of that good stuff. So then tell me why she shows up to her shoot with her 3-year-old. She calls the front door. I say, photography by Alyssa Michelle. She goes, it's Janelle. I can't wait. So excited. I let her in. And then all of a sudden, boom, she comes into the studio and she's got a 3-year-old with her. I immediately like do this and I'm like, whoa. Okay, hi Janelle. It's nice to meet you. Who's picking her up and who's watching her? Janelle looks at me with like the most deadpan look on her face. And she goes, I'm here to drop her off at your daycare so we can do the shoot. Do people just make things up at this point? Like, do you just wish I had a daycare and that you could just drop your 3-year-old off there and poof, it makes that happen. It makes it true. I like didn't know what to say. I literally just kind of stared at her. Like, I mean, it must have been so like the most awkward 15 seconds of my life because I think I just did this. And I just stared at her for literally 15 seconds. And so that's when I finally got up the courage to be like, I don't have a daycare. This is a boudoir studio. This is where people come to get naked. Children can't be in here. And I even reminded her, it's in your contract that you signed and checked off on, that you understood the policies and all that stuff. And it literally says no children or anyone under the age of 18 in the studio at any time. At any time. And she was there, that 3-year-old, in my studio at that point. So she looks at me and goes, well, what am I supposed to do with her? And like looks down at her. And the kid's like looking up at her. And I'm looking at both of them, just being like, that is not my problem. So I literally was like, Janelle, you were supposed to find childcare or, figure out something for your 3-year-old. That is not something that I offer or do for you. That is your child. You figure out where to put her. She then tries to bargain with me a little bit. And she's like, well, she'll just sit in the corner. She'll be fine. I'll give her a book. I'll give her a snack. No stress. I'm like, Janelle, I'm sure she would not be an issue. But I have an issue with her being here because it's illegal for her to be here right now. So I finally said that. And I said, you know what? In fact, because it is illegal for her to be in my space right now and you brought her up, not cool. We need to move down to the lobby. That's a shared space from the building. So I don't get sued. She was like, oh, this is ridiculous. So we ended up walking down the stairs and going down to the lobby where it's a shared space because I share a building. I'm on the full, I have a full floor. And then there's 2 other floors above me. So as I walk her down to the lobby, I say, okay, our options are very clear here. We can reschedule your session where for a day you can find childcare, or you can have her be picked up by somebody really quick. If someone's around the corner or waiting for you, if your husband drove you here, maybe he can take her. I knew option number 2 was not going to be reasonable because we would have had to start getting her into hair makeup 5, maybe even 10 minutes later. So whoever was going to pick her up would need to be there within 5 minutes. She goes, no, neither of those options work for me. And I'm like, okay, we can cancel your session. You'll have to pay the cancellation fee since it's the same day. So, you do what you want. She's like, no, how about we just continue with the shoot and we don't tell anybody that my kid is here. Again, I probably deadpan stared at her for another 15 seconds. The audacity. I said, Janelle, at this point, we either reschedule or you can hand your daughter off to a complete stranger and let her walk down the street while we're doing your shoot. If you want to be responsible for that, then that's fine. But those are your 2 options. And let's be real. If you choose any other option besides option number 1, I'm calling the cops. She then rolls her eyes at me like that. And she goes, fine, I'll reschedule, but you really need to set up a daycare. And so I told her, I will not be setting up a daycare. That's not my job. That is not what I do. It is your job as a mother to figure out childcare for your kid. So then I told her too that I would be sending her the reschedule fee for her to pay and then we can pick another date. She did not like that. Reschedule fee? What? And I then asked her, that's when I asked her because I was like, you checked off yes to everything, that you read everything, that you understood all the policies. My question to you is, did you actually read anything? She goes, no, I never read those things. I just sign them. This is making a lot more sense now. So I said, well, if you had read your entire contract, you would understand all of the reschedule fee, the cancellation fee, the policies that we don't have kids that like are allowed in the studio, all that thing. So before we reschedule you, I really need to go over the contract with you in person. So let's do that right now, real quick, while we're in the lobby. She said, oh my God, this is way too much of a hassle. Never mind. I'm leaving. I don't want to reschedule. That's when I told her, okay, well, it's a same day cancellation fee, so I will send that over to you because that is $2,000. So, and she flipped out and was like, oh my God, if you charge that, I will be suing you. And I'm like, oh, absolutely. That's totally fine. You're free to do that, but I will be charging your card on file for the $2,000 that you owe us today. So have fun with that. She left like literally in a hissy, like stomping her feet like a child, ends up trying to reverse the payment with her bank. And because we have the contract and all that good stuff, she lost because we sent in the proof. She then told me that I owe her something. She's like, if I'm going to pay $2,000, I better get something out of this. Ma'am, if you had just paid the $2,000 and you had done the shoot itself, I absolutely would have given you our one product that cost $2,000. I would have absolutely given that to you, and that's fine. But you didn't even go through with the shoot. I have nothing to give you. But plus, you wasted a day that someone else could have had their life change that day, but you took that date from somebody else because you chose not to read.